So we got this, right? But let's face it, people don't like change. And even on a good day, let alone when people are stressed out, I think it's safe to say that there's a lot of stress in the organization, in the world, about COVID for the last almost 6, 7, or 8 months. Some people cope with change differently, right? So some worry and go around with a pit in their stomach. Others kind of resist it, no matter what the change is. Some think if they hold on long enough, maybe it'll change again. And some people will go along with the change as long as it was their idea. But we need to acknowledge and make sure when we communicate that we communicate the best we can, and even more importantly, make sure whatever we do connects to the spirit of knowing the company's culture, which is where I'd like to begin. So the bottom left equation is acknowledge the company's culture and match it to the safety and hygiene protocols that you're thinking about in order to achieve positive change. I'm going to ask you all in a minute to maybe unmute yourselves and describe in a word or two what your company culture might be. It's a hard question to answer. As a independent consultant, when I go into an organization, I can have the best ideas, but if it doesn't resonate with the way the organization behaves, that's the company culture, it's not going to work.
The future. This means figuring out what your company's operations are going to look like during this pandemic, what recovery looks like, and the importance of planning. Let's start with a little history lesson. Over the last century, there have been multiple pandemics and epidemics which tell us that COVID-19 will likely not be the end of this. Something else is likely to occur in the next 3 to 5 years. So what does this show us? This shows us what they all have in common, and that's modes of transmission. As we look back, we see either virus or bacteria transmitted via airborne droplets and surface contact. So it's reasonable to conclude that the mode of transmission for the next pandemic or epidemic will be similar. This tells us that the current CDC recommendations, they would have worked then, work now, and will likely work into the future.
Gave everyone about selecting the right solution and matching it to the culture to ensure that it's going to work, I think is a key takeaway. But I think as leaders, we can all see that to make this work, there's going to be a significant investment of our time and energy to make it happen. People are especially watching how we're handling this and what we're doing, and they will remember how you handled this specific situation. Struggling. As a leader, it's really important to recognize how that shows up in their behaviors, and if you see those types of behaviors, don't ignore them. Probe into the situation and offer help.